This is a fun little fly to tie and to fish. It's patterned after a southern uh, bluegill fly called the Gill getter, and I've just added a little twist to it, and so I call this the rubber butt gill getter. As you can see with this fly, there's a lot of movement to it. It has rubber legs and a rubber butt that does a lot of movement in the water. And then I use a chenille for a body, and on the back I use dark moose hair to give it a shellback effect. As you can see, you can tie this fly in a lot of different variations, using a lot of different colors of the body and legs and the chenille. So we'll start out with a number 10, size 10 hook, and I will use black 6/0 thread, and I've covered my hook shank and then brought my thread back halfway up the shank of the hook. Then for the tail, I'm going to use a little toy that I found in most variety stores. I don't know really what their use is, but they've just got rubber projections from them, and I think they're made for kids to throw at each other. So I'm going to cover my thread with super glue. And when I first started attaching the tails, I would take a pin and poke a hole and then try and slide the hook through them. And I found out it's a lot easier to put the super glue on and then split the tail, as you can see, and attach it on both sides of your hook shank. And this is probably the hardest part of the whole operation here. So I have one of the segments on one side of the hook and the other on the other. And then that glue will hold it in place. Then I'm going to take my thread and loosely wrap this onto my hook shank. And kind of guide it with my finger. And then I'm going to tighten down my next thread wraps. And that'll keep that tail in line with the hook. And you can kind of maneuver it around a little bit to get it where you want it to be. Now take a small bunch of your black or dark moose hair and comb out the underfur from it, and then tie it on so the points are facing forward. And then make sure you leave yourself plenty of room to pull this over your hook shanks like a shell back. After advancing my thread forward, I'm going to take some red ultra chenille and I'm going to tie it on the top of my hook shank all the way back to the tail. And then I'm going to bring it halfway back up the hook shank. For the legs, I'm going to use a hula skirt rubber legs in the white. And as you can see with the hula skirt legs, they have sparkles in them, which I like to use. So I'm going to make a V onto my thread and pull these up to each side of the hook. And these will start out about 2 inches long. That looks just right. And then I'm going to work my thread forward towards the eye of the hook. At this point, it's a good idea to put a whip finish in your thread just in case your thread breaks and you don't lose all your wrappings on your fly. So I'm going to work now this chenille in tight wraps up the shank of my hook in very tight wraps. Didn't mean to get that underneath. If that happens, just pull it out. Hold it with your finger. And then just keep wrapping forward between the legs. And bring it to the front of your fly and then tie your chenille off, holding it tight, just like that. And then clip off your excess chenille. Now we're going to take our moose hair and pull it up over. I'm sorry about that. It was my son calling me. Pull it up over and tie it off. So after tying it off, you're going to take and cut this moose hair at an angle to the eye of the hook. And what that allows you to do then is to make a neat looking head. Like that. And then you're going to whip finish it off. And cut your thread. And then even out your legs. And that's a fly with a lot of movement, and the fish really like it. Please give me a like and hope to see you next time.